How is the new Plaid government measuring up? 100 days on from their historic victory, are they on course to honour their pledges and promises? With colder months ahead, energy prices are set to rise again, their highest in 3 years. As the world mourns Dolly, we celebrate the legendary country singer's Welsh roots.
And once upon a time, Wales had hundreds of these slate inclines made to get the heavy stuff down to ground level safely. But join us on the last working incline in all of Wales.
Hello, good evening. More of the same and too much talk, not enough action. It's not how Plaid Cymru would describe their time in office, but it's the criticism from opposition parties. It comes as we reach 100 days since the new Welsh Government's first full day in power. The party set out a list of pledges they promised to achieve in that time on things like childcare and waiting lists. But have they seen them through? Well, our correspondent Richard Morgan is outside the Senedd tonight. So, Richard, have Plaid kept those promises?
Well, John, it was back in May that if you were a Plaid Cymru supporter at least, you'll have enjoyed some joyous scenes here outside the Senedd as they became the Welsh Government for the first time ever. Since then, they can point to some concrete achievements, for example, starting a bus route between North and South Wales. But there are those who, as you alluded to in your opening there, who are calling for more delivery. There were celebrations in May, but 100 days into the new Plaid Cymru government, is there much to actually applaud? Or, as its critics suggest, are we seeing too much talk and not enough action? You commissioned 8 reviews, 3 audits, 2 commissions, 2 task forces and a task and finish group. Is it time to see some more tangible action?
Well, we've seen tangible action on childcare, on schools, on transport, on the economy. So there are a number of areas where we've seen tangible action. But I make no apology for planning properly our public services. We've seen 27 years of drift and complacency from the Welsh Government. What we have to do is not only look to today, but look to the future.
Things we could see in the future include hubs for elective surgery, a foundational literacy and numeracy plan for schools, and a town centres task force to look at high street regeneration. But there's work to do. Latest figures show NHS waiting times were up, while rates of unemployment have also risen. Political opponents at the Senedd are circling.
The First Minister, during the election campaign, promised that 2-year waits would be eradicated within a matter of months. But we're 3 months in now to a Plaid government, and there's no sign at all of those waits dropping, so they're not off to a very good start.
We should have seen the immediate declaration of a health emergency, some tax cuts for businesses and hard-pressed families, and action to get those waiting lists down and safeguard women and girls with a grooming gang inquiry.
Well, we've seen a lot of plans, we're seeing a lot of process. What we haven't seen is much action, many tangible outcomes of Plaid being in government, and that's in stark contrast to what we've seen in the first few weeks of the Andy Burnham premiership.
The election saw many traditional Labour heartlands switch from red to green, but were shoppers on Pontypridd High Street experiencing buyer's remorse?
They haven't done anything yet.
No.
So when they do something, we can answer the questions.
I think you've got to give them a chance, the same as Burnham in Westminster. I think you've got to let these things. It's good to have ideas, and let's see them carrying out these good ideas.
I've been waiting nearly 2 years to have my hip done now. And they've told me now it'll be next year sometime.
They say they've got a plan to improve waiting lists. What do you think about that?
Well, I'd like to see it.
It's still early days for the First Minister, but as he and his team get ready to return to work, there's pressure for plans to produce results. Well, John, one big Plaid plan before the election was to expand free childcare to 20 hours a week, but ITV News has discovered that just days after coming into office, the new government were told that there weren't enough workers to fulfil that pledge. In fact, our research shows that meeting the previous government's target of just 12.5 hours a week is proving difficult. For example, in Cardiff, only 3 of 33 providers have agreed to take part in the latest phase of the scheme. So that shows just how difficult it is when ideas collide with reality. We're expecting to hear a bit more about childcare and other policies over the coming weeks. Health Minister Mabon ap Gwynfor has revealed he has a fundamentally different approach for bringing down waiting lists. That all sounds great, but John, just a few short months after those momentous scenes here outside the Senedd, voters will be expecting their new government to deliver.
OK, Richard Morgan at the Senedd. Thanks very much indeed. Our energy bills could be going up again as Ofgem has announced its price cap will increase to a 3-year high. It comes off the back of another sharp rise in the cap earlier this year and just ahead of the colder months where we're likely to use more gas and electricity. Well, our Consumer Affairs correspondent Kate Lewis is here to explain some of the detail. Kate, how will this affect households then?
Well, John, I think these heat waves we've been having are soon going to seem like a distant memory, and today's announcement is certainly not going to be welcome news. What it means is that from October, the price cap goes up by 4%. So our bills could rise by around £60 a year, or simple maths, about £5 a month for a typical household. And remember, that figure isn't a limit on what you pay. The more energy you use, the higher your bill will go. Here in Wales, it's a particular problem because it affects such a significant amount of people. We've got some of the oldest housing stock in the UK, and if you live in one, you'll know exactly what I mean. These older houses can be drafty and far harder to heat. That combination can be particularly tough for older people and households on lower incomes. One energy expert I spoke to a little earlier today recommends acting fast to check what tariff you're on.
If you're on a variable contract, the prices are going to go up. If you're on a fixed rate, you protect yourself from future energy price rises because you're on a fixed term, fixed price contract. And we would recommend using a comparison site, seeing what's available. If it's right for you and you're not going to pay an exit fee for switching, consider switching, go for a deal that's right for you.
Some sound advice there, Kate. What about support?
Well, John, there is support out there. So the 3 main things I'd advise consumers to do is, obviously, we've just heard there, start by checking your tariff. Then check what help you're entitled to. You may be eligible for the Warm Home discount, or specifically here in Wales, the Nest scheme. And if you're already struggling to pay, talk to your energy supplier now. Don't wait for that debt to build, John.
OK, Kate, thanks very much indeed. Well, it's not just energy costs weighing heavily on people's minds. New research shows 3 in 10 young people in Wales have cut back on food because they can't afford it. Figures from the Trussell Trust found hundreds of 16 to 25-year-olds have avoided buying food so they can afford other essentials. Our Swansea correspondent, Dean Thomas Welch, has been finding out more.
Yes, well, a really worrying statistic that a growing number of young people in Wales are having to access services like this one, this food bank here in Parton. And you can see the range of products that are on offer for people here at this service. Well, Christina Williams is the CEO of Swansea Food Bank. Christina, tell us a little bit about Swansea Food Bank. You run a number of food banks across the city, don't you?
That's right, yeah. So this is one of 6 food bank centres we've got in Swansea. We're open most days of the week. So yeah, we're here in Parton today. It's open this afternoon to anyone who's been referred to us. So anyone who's struggling to afford the essentials, to cover their essential need for food. So yeah, we can offer long life food to see people through 3 to 4 days up to a week. Just at the moment, it's still the school holidays, so we've got a bit extra to give out to families with school-aged children, which has been really fantastic. And there's a real need. So we're feeding about 11,500 people every year.
You mentioned there, you're kind of high represented in the number of school children that are coming in with families. Are you seeing that more young people coming through the doors? Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's just really expensive having children, I think, is what our statistics show, that when you look at age groups such as primary age, preschool, senior school, each of those age groups, they're overrepresented. It's, you know, families with children are really struggling. So initiatives like extra food in the summer holidays makes a massive difference to people. We've had period dignity funding, and again, that is really popular with school kids coming to get products, or families come and pick up period products. You know, it just flies off the table. Yeah, it's really needed.
OK, Christina, look, thank you very much. Well, this food bank is just a number of food banks across Swansea which offer a lifeline for people who are struggling.
Dean Thomas Welch there. 2 teenage boys have been arrested in connection with a fire on the Drumeye Mountain near Swansea. A 17-year-old boy has been arrested on suspicion of arson, while a 15-year-old has been arrested on suspicion of attempted arson. They remain in police custody. Firefighters have been tackling the blaze since Monday evening. From the end of next month, passengers catching a ferry between Wales and the Republic of Ireland will need to carry a valid passport. The change is in line with UK Border Force rules and will impact routes between Holyhead and Dublin, as well as Fishguard and Rosslare. Currently, passengers are not required to carry passports, but may be asked to show a photo ID. Well, still to come, thoughts are turning to the bank holiday weekend, and Ruth is out and about.
Hi there, yes, you join me this evening in the beautiful Banau Brycheiniog, but you know what? Rain is on the way, an awful lot of it to come in a relatively short space of time. Rob, how are things looking up there in glorious Llanberis this evening?
Blue skies, but join us here in the slate world that is Llanberis for a remarkable industrial survivors, one of the shortest yet most epic journeys in Wales.
All that to come. Now, earlier this week, we brought you the story of 14-year-old Bella to show how being a young carer can impact life as a child. 1/3 of young carers report a constant struggle to balance school with their home duties. And it's something the Welsh Government are looking into today, announcing the formation of an advisory group targeted at better understanding the experiences of unpaid carers. Tonight, Katia Fowler has been to meet 15-year-old Kieran, who takes care of his 3-year-old brother Arthur.
Hello, hi, nice to meet you. Can I come in? Yeah, of course. Amazing. Hello.
So you can sit down properly. Oh, you sat in that, right.
You comfy?
Comfy?
Yeah.
You're not shy, dude. With Arthur, he's up and downstairs all the time, so I gotta go get him. But I do help him like move around the house and help him out with his like feet, as to say. Because he's got talpies, it's harder for him to walk around and do stuff. So you gotta be by him, you gotta be his feet. I can sit there and interact with him, and like I know he struggles and that, but like I like to be there for him and be his legs for him. Obviously, some people have got bigger responsibilities as a young carer. Me, I'm quite lucky, because obviously I do get free time to go out with my mates and that, but it's not an everyday thing. Like, for instance, if Arthur's feet are hurting, for instance, I've got, like, Mum will say to me, don't go out today, you've got to help your brother out. But honestly, like, I don't think I'd want a normal life. I'd rather it being a young carer than actually being like some of my friends, they like sit in the house and play on the Xbox all day, or they constantly out. I don't really like that. I like to have time with my siblings and like family and that, instead of being out constantly and like being on the Xbox all the time. I like it the way it is. That's not you. We go in the pool.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Noah to love the pool. So Arthur to like it as well. He dipped himself under the water the other day.
Did you?
Jumping off a ladder.
Wow. Was it fun? Wow, you went like that in the pool?
Yeah.
Oh, was it scary?
No.
No. Should we go outside and see the bikes?
It's good to see the bikes.
Yeah? Come on then.
Wrong way, dude. Wrong way. This way.
When you're out and you're sort of doing things like this, do you find your brain sort of switches off from your responsibilities as a young carer?
Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
And is that helpful for like your well-being?
Definitely. It is so much, like, I'd rather be out, doing stuff like this, but...
And does it kind of distract you from what,
Yeah.
your normal life is like for you?
It'd distract me from, obviously, Arthur and that. But when I've got to fix my bike, like, when I'm doing it at the house, Arthur will come out and sit here and watch me. It's better on his mental health as well, because going out with your friends and that, it is proven that it'll help with the mental health.
So it's not just his physical health you worry about, it's his mental health too?
Because everyone's got mental health, everybody's got physical health. There's nothing that we can do about it, but I'd rather him be able to go out and do stuff than be stuck in the house all the time. Feel like a child is the same as anything, to be fair. It's just the only difference is that obviously I gotta look after Arthur and that. Whoa! Honestly, I think the best thing about being a young carer is the satisfaction of actually helping your brother out.
What an inspiration. Tom Jones is among the Welsh voices who've joined tributes to country music icon Dolly Parton, who's died at the age of 80. The Tennessee-born singer was known across the globe for hits like Jolene and for her huge charitable efforts. But in recent years, she'd also revealed her familial link to Wales. Hamish Auskerry has this report.
Jolene, 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 Jolene.
A global superstar with a unique voice, Dolly Parton's talent transcended the country music scene where she began. One of 12 children, Dolly was, by her own account, born into poverty. Her mother, Avie Lee Owens, had roots in Conwy in North Wales, someone who had great influence on her life and music.
My coat of many colours that my mama made for me.
Dolly Parton would go on to global success as one of the most talented writers of her star-studded generation. Her songs have left an indelible mark on music and even Welsh popular culture.
We've got something going on.
And she continues to inspire musicians here. Larry performs Dolly Parton's music in Swansea.
I think she marries up a very simple, catchy tune with a really deeply profound story. I think there's such a parallel between the country music they have over in the States and then what we have here in the UK and especially in South Wales. I think the small towns really marry up, and I think her storytelling, only a Welsh woman could come up with some of those stories, you know.
Away from music, Dolly Parton's playful side once convinced her to pay a very brief visit to Tom Jones's American home.
And they kept daring me and Double Dog daring me, and I just couldn't take it. So I just stripped down and ran across the yard and jumped back in the car and put my clothes on. And I don't think he saw me.
In tribute to her, Tom Jones said, "Losing Dolly leaves a great emptiness. She had an angelic but powerful voice with vast influence on generations to come. A wonderful and generous person with an amazing story." The reality TV star Amber Davis, originally from Denbigh, was introduced to the stage through the musical 9 to 5, inspired by Dolly Parton's hit song. On social media, Amber said, "Dolly was one of the very first to believe in me. The world will not be the same without you." A songwriter inspired by her difficult start in life, who became an inspiration to millions. An icon who brought joy to so many. Here in Wales, as across the world, her music will live on forever.
The one and only Dolly Parton. Now, Wales was once home to a booming slate industry, and now the National Slate Museum in Llanberis is giving people a peek into the past to see just how heavy slabs of the material were moved down the mountainside. The restored incline system at the Gwynedd site is now the only working one of its kind in Britain. And Rob Shelley has been to see how it works, and he joins us now. Rob, tell us more then.
Well, John, epic old landscape, isn't it? You can see how the slate industry literally nibbled away at the mountainside. Problem is, it needed some epic solutions to get that heavy stuff down to ground level, hence the slate incline. And here in Llanberis, they've got the last working one. Once there were hundreds, now there's just the one that operates. So we've been to have a shufti to see, well, how it all works out. Back before this was a country park, the old Dinorwic Quarry was one of the great workshops of Wales. And, unlike your average Bond villain, Wales's slate industry had already achieved world domination. The idea was to get as much blasted out of the hills as you could manage, which meant a lot of innovation. And this was one of the most cunning inventions of the lot. There was a last Victorian, there is a last Edwardian. This is the last incline of its kind left in these whole slate valleys, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely, yes. And it was refurbished just over a quarter of a century ago. So
Still works.
Yeah, still works.
150 years ago, you wouldn't look twice at that cable revolving, those drums going up and down. These days, when it's mostly only the butterflies that are providing the heavy industry, because the mechanism's all quite delicate, it just does a few journeys a week during the summer. But to begin at the beginning, your slate comes along, having been blasted out the hillside, and then we've got all these little huts here.
Yeah, so these are called the gwalia. This is where the splitting and the dressing of the slate would take place.
And then the really good stuff got sent down the incline. This is one of the most inhospitable places to build heavy industry, and how inventive people are getting round it.
Exactly, and cost effective as well in terms of using gravity to get slates down the mountainside to the train which would be waiting at the bottom.
Well, we heard it there. Do human beings ever get to ride on this?
No, never.
Well, I asked, at least I asked. All right, so Wales's shortest, coolest, slatiest journey was out for anything apart from actual slate. But in the engine room that looks a bit like a ship's wheelhouse, that's the old way of starting it.
Yes, yeah.
And how do you do it now then?
Well, nowadays it's all on the press of a button. So if you just press the top one, it will all function properly.
Oh, this was fun. Fantastic. I've started a slate funicular. Oh dear, I hope I haven't broken anything.
No,
it's working.
Yeah.
Once the hillsides of North Wales were lined with these things, now the last one bursts into occasional life. But it's still living history. We can't actually take part in it, but it's a great journey nonetheless, isn't it?
It's absolutely great, and it tells such a wonderful story.
Yes, it's the funicular railway you can't ride on. Actually, it's wonderful seeing people literally stare up at the landscape and seeing this thing moving, because it's slightly mesmeric. It might only be 80 or 100 yards worth of journey, but it's still epic, and it's epic because of what it symbolises, the hundreds of thousands of tonne that were literally blasted away from the hills behind me and found themselves roofing most of the world, even though they wouldn't let me ride on it.
You'll get over it, Rob. Thank you very much indeed. Well, from one beautiful Welsh landscape to the next, Ruth is in the Brycheiniog National Park tonight to bring us the weather forecast. What's it like with you, Ruth?
Well, Rob might have had blue skies. We did have blue sky until about 5 minutes ago, but a great big cloud has just covered the sky now. Yes, welcome to the Brycheiniog. And behind me, you can just about make out Penavon and Corndy, and the sort of the land in front of it looking, well, less like the green grass of home and more sort of crispy. Given that much of Wales has had just 19% of its average rainfall, so for the whole month, basically, it's been very, very dry. Rain is what we want, and rain is what we are about to get. It's going to feel very much like right back to normal over the next couple of days as we play the little sequence through. You can see there's not one, but two, but three, but four areas of low pressure all parked out in the Atlantic, and they're going to throw an awful lot of wet weather in our direction. So much so, in fact, that the whole of Wales for tomorrow is covered by a yellow weather warning to be aware. We could see, well, frankly, up to a month's worth of rain falling in a very short space of time, which of course means to issues on the roads, surface spray, but we could also have some flash flooding. Careful what you wish for, isn't it? We've gone from one extreme to the other, but let's take a look at the next few days in a little more detail.
Today's forecast, blue skies, followed by a spread of hot and cold plates. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, actually, Rob is lucky to have blue skies in Llanberis because there are still a few showers just dotted around northern areas. But as we head through this evening, these should tend to fizzle out. And for much of Wales, we're looking at a largely dry night, varying amounts of cloud and round about average, if slightly mild temperatures. But you can see down across the south by the early hours of tomorrow morning, it's going to feel very, very different. As we wake to tomorrow morning, well, what can I say? A deluge. Thunderstorms, slow moving, possibly some rumbles of thunder, maybe some hail, some significant rainfall totals, all edging their way northwards. Clearing from the south-southeast as we head into tomorrow afternoon, so it might feel a little bit better here, but for the north it's going to be, frankly, quite miserable. And as I said, just be careful because we do have a yellow weather warning to be aware of those thunderstorms. We could see some significant impacts and possibly some disruption. Now, if you're making plans for tomorrow night, as we head through the evening and into the early hours of Friday, that wet weather will clear its way southwards for a time. But then, unfortunately, by the time we wake to Friday morning, it effectively pivots back on itself and so pushes back into southern and eastern areas. And again, we could see some heavy, possibly thundery downpours developing on this batch of rain. But for the rest of Wales, I think into Friday, it should be a relatively decent story. We could actually see the odd glimmer of blue sky and sunshine, but the temperatures, by the time we get to the coming weekend, starting to feel a little bit fresher. We lose the heat and humidity, actually feeling slightly more as it should do. Average, I think, is the word. And of course, it is the bank holiday weekend, and what can I say? It wouldn't be a bank holiday weekend without rain and slightly fresher feeling temperatures. And that, I'm afraid, is exactly what we're going to get.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
So there we go, John. I think it was Kate who mentioned earlier in the programme that the heat wave is going to feel like a very dim and distant memory very soon. And I think the weather has certainly got the message.
Ruth, thanks very much indeed for that. And that's it. Gwennon Campbell is back with a late update from me and the team. Thanks for watching.